So, like I told you before, today's session is we are starting a new topic in physics called vectors, and I'll explain very soon what vectors are about. Though I think most of you must be knowing that there is some such thing as vectors, which is related to magnitude and direction, something like that. So anyway, let's discuss more about it. So as you know that in the subject of physics itself, okay, in physics we deal with we are dealing with all the physical phenomena. Okay. In physics, physical phenomena are studied. So physical phenomena क्या होते हैं? They are basically physical occurrences or physical events that are happening in the world or in the universe around us. Okay. So physical in the sense that what do we mean by the term physical phenomena? We mean all phenomena related to physical quantities interacting. Okay. And by all we mean in the entire universe. So as a subject, physics का scope बहुत deep है, because for example, we might be dealing with the physical, or we might be dealing with the physics of the nucleus. Okay. So the nucleus is inside atoms. So in that we are looking at the interparticle forces, interactions between subnuclear particles, between particles like okay, neutrons, protons, okay, and other particles which inhabit the nucleus, but mostly protons and neutrons. So we are dealing with something very small. If you think about the nucleus, the size of the nucleus, the radius of the nucleus, typically it is of the order of magnitude of what we call Fermi. So 10 raised power minus 15 meters, extremely small. Okay. Or we might be dealing with, for example, we might be dealing with the motion of charge, or what we call electric current. Okay. Inside a circuit board. Okay. The circuit board, for example, might be a microchip. Okay. Like the microchips in various electronics devices, including your computers, etc. Or it might be an integrated circuit or something like that. So here the circuit sizes of the order of micrometers, or 10 raised power minus 6 meters. So again, that's extremely small, but then compared to the nucleus, it's much larger. And what we mean by the motion of charge is nothing but the motion of free electrons. Okay. Microchips mostly consist of semiconductors like silicon, etc. So it's the motion of free electrons and charge carriers within such things. Okay, so that's another example of something we are dealing with in physics. Or we might be dealing with, let us say, we might be dealing with the path of a comet, okay, which is entering the solar system. We are dealing with much larger units. This is an example of something in astrophysics. So in astrophysics, for example, the unit of distance is typically light year. So it's a very huge amount of distance. One light year is equivalent to the distance traveled by light during one entire year. So it is the speed of light, which is 3 into 10 raised per 8 meters per second, into the amount of time in 1 year. So the amount of time in 1 year, as you know, is huge. It is 365 days, 24 hours per day, okay, 60 minutes per hour, and 60 seconds per minute. So it is this much distance in, okay, in meters. It's a huge amount of distance. So comparatively, astrophysics is something where we are dealing with objects which are at very, very large distance. Also in astrophysics, the interaction force between the different objects like planets, heavenly bodies, stars, etc., that is the gravitational force. Okay. Whereas, for example, when we are talking about anything which is to do with a circuit where electrons are in, motion, creating current. So in any circuit board or any electrical circuit, the interaction force, that is electrostatic in nature. It is because of the charge of electrons. It is not gravitation. Okay. Similarly, earlier when I took the example of, the physics of the nucleus, so the interparticle forces or interactions between particles inside a nucleus, they are called strong forces. Strong forces or nuclear forces. So that's another example of one of the fundamental forces known in physics. So anyway, just as an example, I was just showing you how physics deals with various different types of systems, but all of them, yeah, I will give you time to write. Don't worry, Harsh. Okay, you don't have to write this part. I will give you time to write when there's significant part coming up. So this, I'm just giving you a general example to show you. So through these examples, we again understand that what is the subject of physics. The subject of physics is basically the study of physical phenomena, all sorts of physical phenomena in the universe around us. In physics, for example, we don't study about the emotions of a human being because that is not a physical phenomena. Or we don't study about the intelligence quotient of a human being, or we don't study about uh, you know historical events, why they happened in a certain way, because they are not physical phenomena. They're not to do with physical quantities. Okay, the only restriction in what we study in physics versus what we don't study is it should be a physical phenomena involving physical quantities. So once we know this, that it's involving physical phenomena, you also know that the subject of physics always involves the understanding of all physical quantities. Okay. So what is a physical quantity itself? Okay. If we ask ourselves, if physics mein, what are the type of quantities we deal with? They are all physical quantities. So what are physical quantities? They are quantities which can be measured. Okay. Anything that can be measured is called a physical quantity. Okay. So for example, we can measure length, mass, we can measure velocity, we can measure distance, we can measure displacement. Okay. But if I ask you, can we measure the amount of sadness of a human being? Or can we measure, the happiness that we get by seeing something that is, inherently joyous in nature? No, those quantities cannot be measured. So those do not come in the subject of physics. Anything that can be measured is called a physical quantity, and that is part of the subject of physics or the study of physics for us. Okay. Now, based on this, this is where our topic will start for today. Okay. Based on this, we will understand that physical quantities, when we look at their measurement, okay, when we look at their measurement, we can see that we can classify them in two ways. Okay. And one of them is something called vectors. And the other classification is something called scalars. Okay. So this is where our understanding of vectors will start from for today. Okay. So our topic of vectors will start from here. So हम physical quantities को कैसे divide करते हैं into two categories, vectors versus scalars. We notice that there are certain physical quantities which have only magnitude. Okay, so scalars are nothing but physical quantities which have magnitude only. Okay, an example of this is distance, mass, time, okay, energy, etc. Whereas we'll see that there are certain other physical quantities, they have both magnitude and they always act along a certain distance. So they have a particular distance along which they function. Okay? So these are physical quantities that are defined by a magnitude, okay, and a direction. Just the magnitude is not enough to define the physical quantity. So for example, when we talk about displacement, now we know that displacement, how we define displacement, it is the straight line joining the initial position of the body with the final position of the body. So if we don't express the direction in which that displacement is happening, then my definition of displacement is incomplete. अगर मैं बोलता हूँ that displacement of a particle is so many meters without saying that it is in which direction, whether it is towards north or it is vertically upwards or it is towards south or towards east or towards west, I'm not giving any information about where the particle is going. I'm just giving information about how much it is moving. So therefore, the definition of displacement becomes incomplete. So to define displacement, we have to define the magnitude of the displacement, that is the amount by which the body is moved, as well as the exact direction in which it is moved. Okay. So displacement is defined by both magnitude and direction. Okay. So for example, we might say that displacement is 20 kilometers towards east. So here this 20 kilometers is the magnitude. It is the amount of the displacement. Okay. Whereas this direction towards east, that is giving us information about the direction. अगर मैंने सिर्फ 20 kilometers बोला होता, my definition of displacement would have been incomplete. So vectors are physical quantities which are defined in such a way that they have to possess both a magnitude and direction. Another example of a vector quantity is a force. Okay, the force is a quantity which has magnitude. Okay, and it acts along a direction. So without having information about direction, with just the information about magnitude, it's incomplete. जब तक मुझे नहीं पता कि force किस direction में act कर रहा है, apart from the fact that उसका magnitude कितने newtons है, it is of no use to us in any type of calculation or in any type of physical situation involving force. Whereas if I talk about a quantity like mass, obviously it does not have any direction. If I ask you what is the mass of a body or the mass of a person or the mass of an object, you will not say that it is so many kgs acting in this direction, because mass has no direction. Mass is a quantity which is independent of direction. Hence, mass is a scalar quantity, whereas displacement of force is an example of vector quantities. Okay, so you can note down this part now. Okay, from here, our portion of vectors in physics is starting. So you can note this thing as the first aspect. This is the definition of a vector. Okay, this over here is the definition. That they are physical quantities that are defined by both a magnitude and a direction. Whereas as opposed to vectors, we have the other type of physical quantities, जिसको हम scalar बोलते हैं, which is defined by only a magnitude. It does not have any particular direction. So if you're making your notes, you can make a quick note of this part, or you can just understand this part and ask me if there's any doubt. I will be sending you the PDF of these notes later. So आपको बहुत ज़्यादा detail में लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. More important is for you to understand what we're discussing. Okay, so you can make a brief note of this part if you like, but more important, you start understanding this in detail. You can make some shorthand notes, whereas I will be sending you the PDF copy of these notes, so you can get the detailed notes from that. So hope this part is clear, the definition of vectors versus scalars. Okay, so now let's understand the difference between vectors and scalars with an example. How we can say that a certain quantity is a vector or a scalar by just visualizing how we'll do calculation based on this. Okay, so let's think of this physical example. Now in this case, one is like this, that we have, let us say, we have an open container. Okay, in which there is some water which is existing. So there is, let's say, 600 milliliters of water. Okay, now what we are doing next is, another 200 milliliters of water are added to the container. Okay, so find the total volume. Now you'll ask कि कैसा question है ना? It's such a basic thing, like is it worth even asking? But with the second example I'll take, you'll understand why this is significant. So when I want to add the, when I want to find the total volume, after adding this, what I'll do, the final volume will become the initial volume plus the volume that we've added. Okay, so the initial volume was how much? It was given to us 600 milliliters. और कितना ऐड किया मैंने 200 milliliters. So obviously the final volume will become 800 milliliters. Okay, but see what kind of process we've used. We've used simple addition of two numbers. So ये जो process हमने किया ना, 600 plus 200 is equal to 800. This is called scalar addition. Okay, this is an example of scalar addition. Why scalar addition is used? Because volume is a scalar quantity. It does not have direction, it has only magnitude. Okay, but now see my second case and you'll understand the difference between the two. Don't worry about that example. Okay, that's just to explain what is scalar. Now let's come to the important thing. In this case, I'm saying that let us say a person makes a displacement of 5 kilometers. Okay, from 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. ठीक है, इतने टाइम में the person has made this displacement. Just a second, guys. So in my second case, person makes a displacement of 5 kilometers from 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Okay, and then another displacement of, let us say, 10 kilometers from 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Now we want to find this person's net displacement. Net or total displacement from 10 to 11 a.m. Okay. Now tell me how we'll find this. कितना होना चाहिए उसका net displacement? इसका पिछले एग्जाम्पल में तो बहुत इजी था, है ना? When we were adding 200 milliliters of volume to something which already had 600 milliliters, what was the net volume becoming? It was becoming 800. So this calculation was very simple. But here, how will we do the calculation? यहाँ पे कैसे करेंगे? Can we find the net displacement? Yes. Exactly. Correct. Bhavesh, Siddharth, all of you are correct. The answer is that we cannot find the net displacement because मुझे direction नहीं पता. So finally यहाँ पे conclusion क्या होगा? That this cannot be calculated because directions are not mentioned. So that means यहाँ पे जैसे हमने scalar addition use किया था, यहाँ पे हम वो use नहीं कर पाएंगे, है ना? But now as opposed to this, suppose I give you some additional information. Suppose I tell you that, okay. So hope all of you have understood this point, that we cannot calculate because the direction is not mentioned. Now in the same thing, suppose, or let's take another case now. Let's take a new case. Okay. In this, let's say the displacement from 10 to 10:30 a.m. is, let us say, 4 kilometers towards east, towards the east direction. Now find the net displacement from 10 to 11 a.m. if the displacement from 10:30 to 11 a.m. is 3 kilometers towards east in part B, 3 kilometers towards west, and in part C, 3 kilometers towards north. So each of these cases, just send me a message and tell me how much should be the answer. Yes, Bhavesh, very good. That's correct. What about the third case? Yes. First and second case, all of you are getting the right answer. What about the third case? Third case में कितना हो जाएगा net displacement? Very good. That's correct, Tariq. Anybody else? Third case में कितना होगा displacement? Yes, Chana, correct. भावेश, आप कैलकुलेशन एक बार फिर से करो. Yes, Shalini, correct. Yes, Bhargav, correct. Bhavesh, correct. Okay, so all of you are getting this correct now. Okay, so let me just illustrate for the sake of everybody. Yeah, that's correct. So what we can do here to solve this is we can find kind of system of directions. We can say that, okay, let us say this is the north direction, this is the east direction. जबकि कोई जरूरी नहीं है ना, because I've not used a compass or anything. So definitely this is not properly the north direction, but I'm just saying, assuming, suppose ये arrow north के तरफ point कर रहा है और ये arrow east के तरफ point कर रहा है. Yes, 5 kilometers is the correct answer to C part. So most of you got it. That's correct. Okay. Now in the first part, what is happening is that, let us say the person is starting from here, or the body is starting from here at 10 a.m. So we can say that we can represent the first displacement like an arrow like this, going from this, okay, towards east to a point which is how far away? It is at a distance of 4 kilometers. So this is where the particle ends up at 10:30 a.m. Okay, this is 4 kilometers towards east. Okay. Now his second displacement, let's say I'm representing by another arrow. So अब वो कितना होना चाहिए? That should be 3 kilometers, but in the same direction. So it should again be here only. It should be 3 kilometers, but towards east. So this becomes the final position, okay, at 11 a.m. So you can see that from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. उसका net displacement क्या हो जा रहा है, that we can represent by this arrow now. See, this is the net displacement, and as you can see that it will become 7 kilometers towards east. So that's the answer for the first part. But in the second part, what is happening is that the same body or the same person, you can say, who started from here at 10 a.m. वो पहले क्या किया है, is gone eastwards by 4 kilometers till they reached here at 10:30, and after that they've made an opposite displacement because it's going towards west. So ऐसा displacement किया है. So made a displacement like this, 3 kilometers towards west, and that is why their final position is somewhere here at 11 a.m. So you can see that between 10 and 11 a.m. उसका net displacement क्या हो जा रहा है? It is only 1 kilometer, and that too towards east. Okay, so this is the net displacement. Okay. Now the third case is the interesting case. Third case में क्या हो रहा है? Starting from here at, let's say, 10 a.m. पहला displacement towards east of 4 kilometers. So you end up here at 10:30 a.m. And then after that, you're making a 90-degree turn and you're going this way. So 3 kilometers towards north. So towards north also means कि ये angle यहाँ पे 90 हो जाएगा. And this is where the position is at 11 a.m. So between 10 and 11 a.m. you can see that according to the definition of displacement क्या होता है? It is the shortest path or the straight line from the initial position to the final position. So you can see that the initial position to final position as a straight line is now this. So this net displacement how much this will become? We'll have to apply Pythagoras theorem. It will become square root of 4 square plus 3 square. So that is, as you all know, it is 5. So it's 5 kilometers. ठीक है. और वो ऐसा कुछ एंगल पे होगा. Okay. Now I'm just giving you the angle right now. I'll explain in detail why it is like this later. If we measure this angle, it will come out to be 37 degrees. Okay. So we will say that the net displacement is 5 kilometers at 37 degrees north of east. मतलब ईस्ट का डायरेक्शन ऐसा है, नॉर्थ का डायरेक्शन ऐसा है. सो जो नेट डिस्प्लेसमेंट है वो मेरा ईस्ट से नॉर्थ के तरफ 37 degrees का turn है this, okay, and it's 5 kilometers. Okay, now why it is 37 I'll explain in some time. It's a matter of trigonometry actually. Okay, so this becomes the answer to the final part. Okay, so I'm just minimizing this, giving you a bit of time to go through each of the sections, though maximum of you have actually given me the correct answer, so I'm sure you've understood the question properly. Okay, so here we are making use of the definition of displacement. It is defined as the shortest path or the straight line. So we are making use of this definition of displacement. So ये जो process हमने किया यहाँ पे, these are all examples of vector addition. Okay, because displacement is a vector. So notice in the second case, the first displacement was 4 kilometers in magnitude. The second displacement was 3 kilometers. Okay, but the net displacement, which is like the sum of these two, was coming out to be 1 kilometer. So you can see this cannot happen in case of scalar quantities. ये बहुत absurd result हो जाएगा कि हम 4 और 3 को add कर रहे हैं तो आंसर 1 कैसे आ सकता है. But here it makes sense because it's a vector quantity. So the rules that we apply in normal algebra, which is for scalar quantities, don't apply over here. It's a different set of rules which has to do with the fact that displacement has both magnitude and direction. ठीक है ना? So hope this is clear to all of you. Okay. Now just to explain this 37-degree angle, okay, ये angle 37 क्यों हुआ है? That is actually a factual matter. So I'll discuss about that also next. Okay, our portion. Take your time to note it down, no problem. Okay. Now, next thing we'll understand, just apart from vectors, just matter of trigonometry. If we look at right angle triangle, जिसका कि ये रेशियो ऐसा है, this angle theta yeah, for expressing the vector's direction we have to find the angle. That's why I'm explaining this angle. So it is just a factual thing in trigonometry actually. No, it won't be 45. Okay, I'll explain why. Because यहाँ पे sin theta is going to be 3 by 5, cos theta is going to be 4 by 5, and tan theta is going to be 3 by 4. So this property belongs to the angle theta equal to 37 degrees. Just like you know कि अगर ऐसा ट्रायंगल है मेरे पास कि suppose this was in the ratio root 3x is to 2x, then this angle would become how much? Suppose this angle is phi, so you'd see that sine phi is 1 by 2, cos phi is root 3 by 2, and tan phi is 1 by root 3. This is the property of which angle? This is the property of 30 degrees. Okay. Similarly, you know that the most common and easy of the right angle triangles is the isosceles right angle triangle. Isosceles right angle triangle के केस में क्या होता है? Okay. These two sides are equal. Okay. So these two angles are equal. Okay. And if this side is x, this is also x. So this is root 2x. So you know that sine 45 degrees is equal to cos 45 degrees is equal to 1 by root 2, and tan 45 degrees is equal to unity. So like you know this triangle, you're familiar with this, you're also familiar with this. Now this is a new triangle for us where this is 37 degrees. Okay. So you can just make a note of this if you like. Okay. This property that sine 37 is 3 by 5, cos 37 is 4 by 5, and like that tan 37 is 3 by 4. Okay. So this is an additional new angle for us. Like the standard angles of 30, 60, 90, 45 we know. Yes, I will be sending the notes, Ankit, in the group. Okay. Now the other interesting thing is just like if you look at that 30-degree angle triangle, so now this angle is 30, this angle is 60. Okay, so that's why if I now invert this triangle and look at it like this, सेम ट्रायंगल को मैं ऐसा घुमा देता हूँ, then the angle in focus becomes this one. Okay, this side becomes x, this side becomes root 3x, and this is 2x. So you can see that cos 30, which is root 3 by 2, is the same thing as sin 60. Okay. Similarly, sin 30, which is the same thing as half, is also equal to cos 30. And tan 30, which is 1 by root 3, is the same thing as cot 30 degrees. Okay. In fact, sorry, 60, my mistake. In fact, tan 60 will be equal to root 3, which is the same thing as cot 30 degrees. Okay. Yeah, it will be 60. Correct. Okay. So this is that general relation that cos theta is the same thing as sin 90 minus theta. Sin theta is the same thing as cos 90 minus theta. And tan theta is the same thing as cot 90 minus theta. Now that same set of properties we'll see you can apply to the 3, 4, 5 triangle. But the angles in case of the 3, 4, 5 triangle are 37 and the other angle is 53. So here we'll see the formula like this. Cos 37 is the same thing as sin 53, which is 4 by 5 or 0.8. Okay. And sin 37 is the same thing as cos 53 is the same thing as 3 by 5 or 0.6. And tan 37 is the same thing as cot 53 or cot 37 is the same thing as tan 53. Okay. So this is just some common values which you should know. In physics, these become important. Okay. So 30, 60, 57, 53, 45. These are some common values you should know. Okay, so we'll see not only in this chapter, but in various chapters in physics, these angles are very commonly used in solving questions. So just keep a note of this fact, okay, that 3, 4, 5 triangle के जो angles होते हैं, they are 90, 37 and 53. Okay, now moving on. Now let's solve a slightly more tricky type of question before we come back to more definitions as part of vectors. So our next example is like this, that a particle makes a displacement of 10 meters towards west, okay, and then turns 60 degrees towards 60 degrees north of west, and makes a further displacement of 10 kilometers. So first part, make a diagram to represent the net displacement, okay, and find its magnitude and direction. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more challenging than the previous question, but just try it out. I will give you some hints along the way, but try it out yourself first. They are approximate in the sense that matlab, sine theta is equal to 3 by 5 actually happens for 37 point something, no, 37.12, something like that. So it's approximately 37 degrees. Or rather, the value of sine 37 is not exactly 3 by 5, it is approximately 3 by 5. But that approximation is good up to second place of decimals, so it's no problem. Sine 37 का जो exact value होता है ना, it is 0.602. It is 0.6018 something. So 0.6 is good enough for an approximate value. Okay, I've got many different answers from people. So first of all, let me tell you the correct answer. Then I'll discuss the couple of different methods for solving this. So we will see that the magnitude of the displacement will come out to be 10 root 3 kilometers, or approximately you can write that as 17.32. Okay, and the direction will be, it will be at 30 degrees north of west. Okay. So this should be the final answer for the second part. Now let's make a diagram to understand how this is coming out, and let's see what mathematics or what geometrical principles we can apply to come to this conclusion. So again, if I'm using the same sort of convention, that my y-axis is representing the north direction and my x-axis is representing the east direction, so negative of x is west. Okay, so this is like how my compass is placed. So now let us look at the individual displacements in this convention. So if this is the first displacement of 10 kilometers, okay, towards west. So this is where he starts from. Let's take this as our origin. Okay, and this is where he ends up after the first displacement. Now after this, he's doing what? He's turning 60 degrees towards north and then going in the direction of 60 degrees north of west. So वो ऐसा हो जाएगा. It will be direction that we can say something like this. Say something like this. So this is our second displacement of 10 kilometers at 60 degrees north of west. So that means मेरा west direction continued था यहाँ पे ऐसा towards west. So now from this you should be turning 60 degrees towards north. So this angle here should become 60 degrees. Okay. And this is where his final position is. Okay. Let's say F is his final position. Oh, 10 meters, sorry. Just replace the 10 kilometers with 10 meters. So आंसर भी 10 रूट 3 मीटर्स हो जाएगा इंस्टेड ऑफ. Okay, these will become 10 root 3 meters. And for this I have used the approximate value that root 3 is 1.732. Okay. Oh sorry sir, my mistake. इसको भी आप 10 meters कर दो, दोनों same unit में. Okay. Sorry, my mistake. It should be same unit. Either both is kilometers or both is meters. So let's just take meters in this case. Okay. All right. So now in this diagram, what is our net? So diagram wise, we wanted to make a diagram where we find the net displacement. So net displacement कौन सा होना चाहिए in this? It should be from origin to the final position. So it should be this. Okay. So this particular arrow is representing our net displacement. So that's in fact the first part. We wanted to make a diagram and show the net displacement in that. So we want to find out how much this is, and we want to find out how much this angle is. Okay, now I will apply two different methods for doing this. In one, I will just use plain trigonometry. Okay, and let me represent that by making another diagram below. So I will solve this first by using just simple trigonometry, and then we will see another method also which we can apply, which also involves trigonometry, but a bit more of trick also. Okay. So to solve this now, sorry. The first method I will use is going to be something like this. In my first method, what I will do is I'll continue this line here. Okay. And I'll also drop a perpendicular from this point onto this. I'll make this geometrical construction here. Okay. So it's a simple geometrical construction that पहले लाइन को कंटिन्यू कर दिया और ये वाले वर्टेक्स पॉइंट से यहाँ एक परपेंडिकुलर ड्रॉप कर दिया. ओके, नाउ इन दिस आई विल कॉन्सेंट्रेट ऑन फर्स्ट दिस स्मॉलर ट्राइंगल. यू सी दिस इज अ राइट एंगल ट्राइंगल. सो यहाँ पे अगर मैं ये वाले लेंथ को x ले लेता हूँ, ठीक है, और ये वाले लेंथ को y ले लेता हूँ, ठीक है, और अब मैं ये वाला ट्राइंगल कंसिडर कर रहा हूँ. आई एम कंसिडरिंग this triangle, the one I'm shading, considering this triangle here. So in this triangle, see what is happening. The hypotenuse is 10. So I know that x by 10 should be equal to cos 60, which I know is half. So I know that x will have to become 5. Okay. And y by 10 is sin 60, क्योंकि मुझे पता है √3/2 होता है. So y का वैल्यू कितना हो जा रहा है? 5√3 हो जा रहा है. So now I'm getting these two. Okay, so that is the first step. Okay. Now, once I've done this, the next thing I will do is now I will look at the larger triangle. Okay, so let me again make another diagram to represent that. Okay. So अब मैंने x और y निकाल लिया. This is clear to all of you how x and y has come, right? So now let me concentrate on the larger triangle. Okay. So in this larger triangle, let us say this side is the net displacement. So ये हमको निकालना है. Now how much this is we want to calculate. So now look at this triangle that I'm shading. Okay. Look at this whole triangle. This is also a right angle triangle. So ये triangle में मैं जब trigonometry यूज करूंगा या पाइथागोरस थ्योरम यूज करूंगा फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, बाद में ट्रिग्नोमेट्री यूज करूंगा. ओके, you can see that this triangle's base is how much? It is x plus 10. So it is 5 plus 10 or 15. Because हमने x का वैल्यू यहाँ से निकाला था, ठीक है. एंड सिमिलरली इसका जो हाइट है y मैंने निकाला था यहाँ से, दैट इज y. सो दैट इज 5√3 meters. सो इसका जो हाइपोटेन्यूज हो जाएगा, that is the net displacement, that will be equal to square root of base square plus height square. Okay. This becomes the net displacement. So this is one way of solving the question. Okay? And from here I'll get the angle also. But first you can make a note up to this step, or you can just understand these in detail. So make sure the steps are clear here. If there's any doubt, please ask me, anyone. ठीक है, यहाँ पे steps समझना बहुत जरूरी है. Okay, people, so this is clear. Now, what about this angle? वो एंगल भी ट्रिग्नोमेट्री से आ जाएगा फॉर द लार्जर ट्रायंगल. नहीं, सी एंगल कितना होगा देखो. अभी यही वाले ट्रायंगल में देखो ना, ये एंगल अगर मैं कुछ, सपोज आई टेक दिस अननोन एंगल as some alpha. Now see, for this larger triangle, what is happening is tan alpha is the perpendicular, which is y, upon the base, which is 10 plus x. Na? So it is how much? 5√3 divided by 15. So tan alpha कितना हो जा रहा है 1/√3. So alpha is 30 degrees. This is not an isosceles right angle triangle. No? This is a triangle which has these sides of ratio 1/√3. ठीक है people, this is clear. या भावेश बेटा आपका क्वेश्चन क्या है? $120. Yeah, matlab the inside angle is 120. We can make, so this was the first method. Yeah, we can also make use of this fact that this angle is 120 and this is a this thing isosceles triangle, na? 10 is equal to 10. So that's the second method. Okay, so anyway, this method is clear to all of you, I hope. हाँ, so direction of displacement क्या हो जाएगा? See, अभी ये angle कितना हो गया? 30 डिग्रीज हो गया ना. सो ये जो नेट डिस्प्लेसमेंट है मेरा, वो दिस इज द वेस्ट का डायरेक्शन, ठीक है, और ये नॉर्थ डायरेक्शन है. सो ये एंगल कितना है? 30 हो गया. सो वी विल से दैट द नेट डिस्प्लेसमेंट is this thing 10√3 meters at 30 degrees north of west ना, बिकॉज ये जो डायरेक्शन है वो ऐसा है, ये आपका वेस्ट है, ये आपका नॉर्थ है, बट नेट डिस्प्लेसमेंट ऐसे डायरेक्शन में है. Okay, so once you found the angle, so I know how to express. Now इसको हम ऐसे भी express कर सकते हैं. We can say it is 60 degrees west of north. ठीक है, they are one and the same thing. 30 degrees north of west, or we can also say it is 60 degrees west of north. Okay, because this angle is 60 degrees. Okay, now let's look at another alternate method of solving this. Okay. So in the alternate method, the diagram is the same obviously, but just a different method of solving it. So again, this is 10 meters, this is 10 meters, and this angle is 60 degrees. Okay. And this is the net displacement जो कि हम निकालना चाह रहे हैं. Okay. This is also what we want to find. Okay. So here we make use of the fact that if this side is equal to this side, then this angle will be equal to this angle. Okay. And this angle is how much? It's 120 degrees. So first of all, you can see that 2 alpha plus 120 is 180. So सबसे पहले आपका angle आ गया 30 degrees. Okay. That's one thing. Now next thing we'll do is we'll make use of another property of isosceles triangle. North of west का meaning बेटा, okay, so if we say theta degrees north of west, Harsh, so the meaning of this Harsh is कि आप west से north के तरफ 30 degrees और जो भी है theta degrees से move करोगे. So ये आपका west direction है, ये आप north direction है. ठीक है. So आप west से north के तरफ shift करिए by theta degrees. So that is theta north of west. Okay. So if you rotate from west towards north by theta, so ये direction जो हो जाएगा ये अब होगा आपका theta degrees north of west. This is the meaning of it. Is it clear, Harsh? Yes. Okay. So this is मतलब आदत पड़ जाएगी. Once we do more questions in vectors, you'll easily understand this. Okay. So understood now. So this is, so coming back here, this is making use of the fact that it's an isosceles triangle. It's from the fact that it's a isosceles triangle. Now another thing we can do in this isosceles triangle is that if we drop a perpendicular from this vertex onto this side, ऐसा है कि अगर हम perpendicular drop करते हैं तो ये perpendicular क्या करेगा? It will bisect this side. Okay, so that's another property of isosceles triangle, that the perpendicular drop onto the third side, okay, the non-equal side. ये third side not equal है इन दोनों के, ठीक है? It bisects it, ठीक है? And once it bisects it, it forms two triangles which are congruent and right angle triangles. So अभी ये साइड अगर x है तो ये भी x हो जाएगा, बाइसेक्ट कर रहा है, ठीक है? तो ये ट्रायंगल में अभी आप देखिए, ये राइट एंगल ट्रायंगल में क्या हो रहा है? आपका cos अल्फा is x upon 10 meters. So cos 30 degrees, because अल्फा हमने जस्ट निकाला अभी 30 है, is x by 10. So आपका x कितना हो जा रहा है? 5√3. Therefore net displacement is 2x. So कितना हो जा रहा है? 10√3. So ये आपको मैग्नीट्यूड मिल गया और ये आपको डायरेक्शन मिल गया. So this is yet another way of solving this question. Yeah, Priyam, that's correct. We can choose any method. Harsh, you want to see the previous solution or this one only? The previous solution was a different method, है ना? अभी सेम ट्रायंगल को मैंने अलग तरीके से सॉल्व किया है ना. So this was the first method. Perpendicular drop करके we analyze the two right angle triangles, and the second method below we are not using this method. We are not dropping this perpendicular. Instead we are making use of the fact that ये जो triangle है ना, जो original वाला triangle है मेरा, ये वाला triangle, we are making use of the fact that rather than यहाँ से perpendicular drop करूँ, I can see that this is a isosceles triangle. So I'm taking advantage of that कि ये दोनों sides 10 है, तो ये ऐसा isosceles triangle बन जा रहा है. So isosceles triangle का ये वाला property use कर रहे हैं हम, है ना? Anytime we have an isosceles triangle where we have so if these two are equal sides, then these two become equal angles, and if we drop a perpendicular here, then this bisects this, so ये दोनों side same हो जाते हैं. Okay, so in this particular case it's an acute angle isosceles triangle, but it can also apply to an obtuse angle isosceles triangle. The same principle will apply to a triangle like this also. Okay. So if this side is equal to this side, then this angle will become equal to this angle. Okay. Okay. And the other thing is, we drop a perpendicular here, so that will bisect this side. और ये एंगल भी बाइसेक्ट हो जाएगा, ये अब θ/2 हो जाएगा, ये θ/2 हो जाएगा. So this type of triangle here you can see. ठीक है. So hope this both the methods were clear to all of you. ठीक है. Okay, now जो हमने किया है अभी तक उसको हम एक general method बनाएंगे, है ना, and that is called the triangle law of vector addition. So whatever we did in these couple of examples, we will make a general method out of it. Okay. So next up, what we'll see, it is formally called the triangle law of vector addition. Okay. So today we are looking only at introduction of vectors. So we won't worry so much about other type of vectors like forces and all that. We'll just think of it like displacements. Okay. So for example, any two displacements. Okay. A and B. Now, before we continue, let us understand what this symbol means. Okay. Vector notation. Okay. So any symbol with an arrow on top of it, इसको हम कहते हैं vector A. The arrow on top of a letter or alphabet indicates that it represents a vector quantity. Okay. So for example, we might say force F. We might say displacement S, or we might say displacements S1 and S2. So all of these, they indicate that it's a vector quantity. This is a vector quantity. So from now on, whenever we see a symbol जिसके ऊपर एक ऐसा arrow बना हुआ है, we'll understand that वो symbol क्या represent कर रहा है, वो vector represent कर रहा है. So that is how we do the notation of a vector quantity. Okay. Whereas scalar quantities are represented without any arrow on top. So before we come to triangle law, let us just understand this thing about vector notation. So this is one thing you should understand, that any symbol, कोई भी alphabet के ऊपर अगर एक arrow बना हुआ है, it is indicating that वो quantity क्या represent कर रहा है या वो symbol क्या represent कर रहा है. It is representing a vector quantity. Okay. It might be a velocity v. Okay. It might be momentum p. Whereas scalars are represented by just an alphabet. Okay. So for example, this is a scalar quantity E. Okay. Or this is a scalar quantity D. Okay. Now another symbol we should understand is whenever हम एक वेक्टर को एक मॉडुलस सिंबल के अंदर बताते हैं. So in mathematics, this double bar means modulus, but in vector algebra, it means magnitude of the vector A. Okay. So for example, if we write the equation, so ये अभी क्या represent कर रहा है this equation? This equation is representing that magnitude of the force F, which is a vector quantity of course, okay, is equal to 50 newtons. So in mathematics, this means modulus, okay, but in vectors, it means magnitude. Okay. So these two things we should understand. Any symbol with an arrow on top of it is a vector, and any vector with double bar, this becomes magnitude of vector x, like this. Same in the sense that the symbol is same, Bhavesh, but in mathematics वो mod होता है. So for example, if I say mod of, when I put a number over here, this is modulus. Okay, so here this double bar stands for modulus. Okay, that's in maths. But here this double bar stands for magnitude because we are talking about vector algebra. Okay, so अगर double bar के अंदर एक vector quantity है, then that symbol represents magnitude. Between mod in mathematics and magnitude in vectors. Okay. Okay, now let's come back to triangle law. So triangle law में क्या हो रहा है? नहीं तो देखो भावेश, क्या हो रहा है ना कि मैथमेटिक्स में मॉडुलस का डेफिनेशन क्या है? इट इज अ नंबर विदाउट द एल्जेब्रिक साइन, है ना. सो इन मैथमेटिक्स वी डिफाइन मॉडुलस लाइक दिस, दैट पॉजिटिव ऑफ 3 का मॉडुलस भी 3 है, नेगेटिव ऑफ 5 का भी मॉडुलस 5 है. इट्स जस्ट द नंबर विदाउट द साइन. बट इन वेक्टर्स व्हाट इट रिप्रेजेंट्स द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ द वेक्टर. तो मैग्नीट्यूड क्या होता है? द अमाउंट ऑफ द क्वांटिटी, है ना. सो दे आर स्लाइटली डिफरेंट थिंग्स. Because remember that a number does not have any unit, no. A number is unitless, it's a pure number, but magnitude of a vector is in some unit, you know. So magnitude of force, for example, if it is 50, it's not enough to just say it's 50. It should be either 50 newtons or 50 dynes, you know. So yeah, मतलब it does not have sign. वो बात correct है कि magnitude of a vector will be 50 newtons, not plus or minus 50 newtons. But also the important thing is कि ये क्या है? ये एक physical quantity है, which is expressed in newtons. Whereas ये क्या है? ये एक pure number है, इसका कोई unit नहीं है. नहीं, ये नंबर लाइन पे है और ये जो है इट्स अ फिजिकल क्वांटिटी. So that's the difference between saying modulus of a number and magnitude of a vector. ठीक है. Okay, now coming back to triangle law. So in triangle law, what is happening is given two vectors, let's say A and B, okay, such that the magnitude of the vector A is some capital A, okay, and magnitude of the vector B is capital B. तो ये कोई भी वैल्यू हो सकता है. Like in the previous example, we had taken 10 meters and 10 meters. उसके पहले वाले example में we had taken 4 kilometers and 3 kilometers. Like that, any general values A and B, okay, and the angle between them is theta. Then we want to find what is the magnitude of this, okay, where A plus B is the vector sum of the vectors A and B. Okay. This is what we are trying to do in triangle law. कि मैं दो वेक्टर्स का मैग्नीट्यूड जानता हूँ, okay, और उनके बीच एंगल जानता हूँ थीटा. Then how to find the magnitude of the sum of A and B, vector sum of A and B. Okay. So for that, what we do is we just use the similar logic that we have done for the displacements. Okay. So if the displacement or if the vector A, now just think of A like a displacement. Okay. So I can represent it by an arrow. So suppose this is the vector A. Okay. And this is the vector B. Okay. और उनके बीच जो एंगल है वो एंगल थीटा है ऐसा. Okay. Then this here will become the sum of A plus B. Okay. So the statement, so according to triangle law, what is happening is magnitude of A plus B will become the third side of a triangle whose adjacent sides are A and B. Okay. And exterior angle is theta. So this is the statement of the triangle law. Okay. So if you look closely, this is the logic we have used earlier to add the two displacements. ये वाला जो एग्जाम्पल था हमारा, इसमें हमने वही किया है. This was the first displacement, so we can represent this as displacement S1. Okay, this was the second displacement, so we can represent this as displacement S2. और उनके बीच एंगल कितना था, 90 डिग्रीज था, तो ये एक्सटीरियर एंगल 90 हो गया. सो ये जो थर्ड साइड है ट्राइंगल का, वो मेरा क्या बन जा रहा है, दैट इज बिकमिंग द नेट डिस्प्लेसमेंट. दैट इज बिकमिंग S net, which is the sum of S1 plus S2. In this case also it would have been a triangle, but because the angle is 180, वो collapse होके straight line बन जा रहा है. ठीक है. Then second case में भी हमने वही किया है. This was my first displacement, S1, let's say. Then this was my second displacement, S2. So the third side of the triangle, or S1 और S2 के बीच angle कितना था? 60 था. So that became the exterior angle. So the third side of the triangle was nothing but my net displacement. That is the sum of S1 plus S2. And then of course we use trigonometry or we use Pythagoras theorem and combination of those things to find out कि ये third side कितना है length में और ये angle कितना है. ठीक है. So that is what we are going to do in the triangle law also. We are going to make use of trigonometry just like we did over there. Drop a perpendicular here, make use of trigonometry in this triangle, and we will develop a general formula for how to find this thing, the magnitude of the third side A plus B, given that we know the magnitude of these two sides are A and B and E exterior angle theta. Okay. So this is where we'll pick up from in the next lecture. So one more thing I wanted to discuss with you people before we end is that do you have the module for do you have the PDF module for vectors? There is a module in PDF form which is called the mathematics of physics. Okay, I will send it to you. Okay, I will send it to you. तो इसमें जो पहला चैप्टर है वो वेक्टर्स है, ठीक है, और दूसरा चैप्टर कैलकुलस है. So this will be the module we will be following for this. Okay, I will send it on the group. Okay, so this is the module we'll be using. I will be sending it on the group. Don't worry. And secondly, make a separate notebook for vectors. ठीक है, वो नोटबुक में आप लेक्चर नोट्स प्लस होमवर्क प्रॉब्लम्स, कर सकते हैं. बट फॉर वेक्टर्स जस्ट मेक अ सेपरेट नोटबुक so that all the things are in one place, they are not mixed up with other things. Okay, so yeah, I'll scroll up, but I'll be sending you the PDF notes, don't worry, so you'll get all that for this. Okay, very good. Okay, so that's all for today's lecture. I will send you the module and you can read through the first few pages of it. We will discuss in more detail next time about triangle law, and we will see that there is a formula. Okay, so there's going to be a formula for this, okay, which we will discuss in the next lecture. Okay, people. So that's it for today's lecture. I will send you the notes as well as the recording link plus the module in your Foundation Builder 2 group. Okay, so just pick it up from the WhatsApp group. Okay, bye.